Greetings and welcome to Golden Nuggets, where truth and wisdom get married and bring forth enlightenment. I want to speak to you today about setting goals. Today, we will explore the value and the benefits of setting smart goals. And so the moment has come to get focused and determined in what you want for 2022. It's time to elevate and evolve. I am Ezra, A.K.A. the voice of reason, over and out. Welcome to Golden Nuggets, bite-sized truths in moments of need. And if this is your first time joining us, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when we are uploading our next video. And today is episode 19. And we are going to be looking at setting goals. And it's really important that we understand to make 2022 successful, we have to be setting smart goals. So let's get into this. So when we're talking about goals, what we need to understand is that a goal is an idea of a desirable or a future result that people envision, plan, and commit to achieving. And so the question for you that you want to ask yourself as we're at this point, so that you have clarity as we move forward, is what is your goal? What is your desired result? What do you envision for yourself this year? What do you plan to achieve? What are you committed to achieving in your health, in your finances, in your career, in your relationships, in your mental capacity? What's the goals for you? What do you want? Because we commonly endeavor to reach goals over specific periods of time by setting deadlines. And so once you understand what you want, where you want to go, where you want to get to, then you have to set specific and realistic timeframes in terms of when you want to achieve that. Whether that's a course, whether that's to lose weight, whether that's to get a new job, whatever it may be. And that's what goals are about. They give us something to aspire towards. They give us a focus point. And so it's really important that you set goals for yourself because they give you that drive, that focus, that vision. What's your goals? Write them down and then start to plan to how you are going to achieve them. It's key, it's important, it's vital. And so when we're thinking about goals, we have to also include standards, because we have to have goals, but we have to also have standards. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's look at it this way. If you set a plan and a goal, something that you want to achieve, a place that you want to get to, and you don't have standards, how are you going to maintain that? You see, because when we have a goal, especially if we set a big goal, it requires certain things. It requires us to be focused, to be consistent, to say no to certain things so that we can achieve our goals, to push through in particular things that we find difficult because we want to achieve our goals. And so in order to have goals, we must also have standards. It's essential. And so your goals are vital, because if you are not consistent with it, then you won't live in a consistent way. If I'm trying to lose weight and one day I'm focused on that goal and then the other day I just say, you know what? I just want to eat whatever I want to eat. And I keep doing that every other day. It's going to violate my goals. It's not going to allow me to achieve that which I seek. And in the same way, if I'm doing a course, if I'm doing a degree, if I'm doing a master's, half the time I'm not doing the homework because I don't feel like it. I'm not going to get the results that I want. And so if you don't have a consistent goal, you won't live in a consistent way. And then when we're talking about standards, we're talking about having a foundation, a rooting, a consistency, something about you that drives you and pushes you forwards. And so you have to ask yourself, with those goals that you've written down, with those goals that you have in your head, with those goals that you have for 2022, are you interested in achieving them, or are you committed? There's a big gulf between the two. Interested means, oh, I like that. I would like to do that. One day I would like to have that. Hopefully this will happen for me. That's interested. Committed is, I am going to do. This is the way for me now. Consistency is my best friend. I am determined. No, I will not do that because that doesn't line up with my goals. I will push through the pain and do this because this is the way that I will achieve my goals. Standards. And that's the difference that separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't. Those who reach a place of execution and those who don't. Those who elevate and those who don't. And so goals plus standards equals success. So always be a goal digger. Always be that person that is looking to improve, to do better than you did yesterday, to reach the place that you are desiring to get to. Be a goal digger. And one of the things about being a goal digger that's really important to understand is that the secret of getting ahead is getting started. And this is often very difficult for people because we like to give reasons and justifications and excuses for why we don't get started. I'm not smart enough yet. I'm not confident enough yet. I don't have enough knowledge. I'm not sure. It might go wrong. I might fail. And all of these things are the battles that go on in our head because we're fighting against fear. We're fighting against limiting beliefs. We're fighting against imposter syndrome. And we're fighting against the rats, the reoccurring afflicted thoughts that keep us bound and trapped, thinking on our lack and our limiting attributes and the labels that we put on ourselves or that others have put on us by the things they've spoken over our lives. And the real secret is that getting started is the best way for you to get ahead, because we will fail our way to success. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. There is no one who has gotten to a place of success without failing. And so when we hold on to this limiting belief that we have to wait and we're not ready yet, all we're doing is stifling ourselves from achieving our goals. So I want to encourage you today, get started, fail fast, and then move into success. Because every time when you try something and you do something, you are learning, you are growing, and you are expanding. So whatever it is that your goal is, and if you have been putting it off because you're saying, I'm not this yet and I'm not that yet, I encourage you today to make that step. I encourage you today to move forward. And in doing so, you are propelling yourself forward to success. You are sharpening that pencil. You are creating the environment that's going to lead to your success. So don't put off for tomorrow what can be done today. And so this is where personal commitment really comes into play. And there are 3 critical questions to ask yourself to understand your personal commitment in relation to the goals that you want to achieve for 2022. So the first question you have to ask yourself is, what do you really want? And when I say that, in the beginning, I asked you what your goal was. But now I want to know, what do you really want? What are you committed to achieving? What do you really want? What will make you happy? Not what your parents are saying, what your partner is saying, what your boss is saying, but what do you really want? What fires you up? What really touches your soul? What do you really want to achieve? Where do you want to go for 2022? It's important that you know this and you have clarity around this. Because once you find out what you really want, the question is, what are you willing to sacrifice for it? Everything has a price. Everything has a price. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to say no more to so that you can achieve that goal? Is it your comfort zone? Is it Netflix? Netflix on watching stuff on TV, your favorite show that you spend so much hours and dedicate so much time to that could have been used to be pushed towards your goal? Is it your diet? Is it that you have to cut back on some of those sweet, sugary stuff that you love? Is it sleep? Is it that you maybe need to get up a bit earlier so you can get that exercise in, or so you can get those extra reps in terms of whatever it is you need to do, reading, studying, etc.? Is it spending money? Is it cutting back? Is it saving? Is it your attitude around things? Is it that you have to fix up certain ways of thinking, how you respond to people? What are you willing to sacrifice to get what you really want? Because if you keep doing what you've always done, you won't get what you seek and desire. What are you willing to sacrifice? And once you understand and you're clear on what you're willing to sacrifice, the question then is, when are you willing to make it? You see, certain things we know we need to sacrifice, but we're not ready to do it yet. And there's certain things that we need to sacrifice and we are like, it's time. I can't do this anymore. I can't live this way. And so it's important that you understand, when are you willing to do it? Is it today? Is it next week? Is it next month? It's important that you understand that by answering these 3 questions and having clarity around them, you stand the best chance of achieving your goals if you're willing to put in the work, if you are willing to make the sacrifice, and if you're willing to start it now. Without this trade-off, your chances of achieving your goals are pretty slim. If you don't know what you really want, which gives you drive, determination, and focus, it helps you to know what you will and what you won't do, what you will and what you won't engage in. Then how do you expect to have success? But that's just the first stage. And if you are not then willing to sacrifice certain things, to separate yourself from your hindrances and those things that are deterring you away from your goal, then the chances are still quite slim. And when you are determined and you know when you're willing to make that sacrifice, if you're saying from today, today is the day, no more, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not sabotaging myself. I'm not sitting down watching TV all day and then wondering and complaining that I don't have time to do the things that I want to do. I'm going to get up a bit earlier so that I can get things done. I'm going to eat healthier so that my mind's more focused, so that my body can make the changes that I want it to make. You have to have this trade-off. You can't expect everything to stay the same and for you to get the results that you want. So please take your time with this. Even if you pause the video and you write this stuff down, I want you to make 2022 the year of your life. And so another really important thing that I want you to be aware of and to consider, because it can sometimes be very difficult to separate from the crowd, to be different, to find your own lane, to do things your own way. And so I want to encourage you, don't be afraid to leave the herds of complacency and the pack of procrastination for you to achieve your goals and your dreams. And you know, sometimes when you have your vision and your goal, it's your vision and your goal. Others can't see it. Others are not prepared to work for it. And so when you are trying to do these things, they'll say, don't try so hard. Look, it's failed. Give up on it. Why? Look how long you've been doing this and it hasn't been successful. Because they don't have the vision, they don't have the focus, they're not willing to sacrifice. And so they're looking at things from their vantage point, from their lack and limiting beliefs. And so sometimes you need to separate from those herds of complacency and those packs of procrastination, because they will deter you. They will cause you to doubt. They will make you think, what's the point? So make sure your company are people who value your values. And, you know, the last golden nuggets, that's what my message was, valuing your values. So if you didn't watch that, I encourage you to go back and watch that, because you want to be around people that value the things you value. You want to be around people that will lift you up and not pull you down. You want to be around people that when you're struggling and find it difficult, they encourage you and give you that petrol, that motivation to keep going. And so don't be afraid to begin to separate from people who can't see the value in what you're doing. And often when you speak to them, they end up demotivating you rather than motivating you. Sometimes we need to separate because we may have grown, we may have moved on, and the things that others are saying and doing no longer help or serve us. And so this links on to my next point about managing our emotions. And so emotions play a vital role in us achieving our goals, because the thoughts that we think on create the emotional currents that we experience. And the average human being experiences 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 90% of those are rumination. And scientists have proven that sometimes, in many cases, up to 70% of those thoughts are negative for a good proportion of people. So if you are thinking on thoughts which are rumination, consistently going over the same thoughts 90% of the time, and up to 70% of those thoughts can be negative for some people, this creates a cycle of negative emotions. Emotions is energy in motion, emotions. And so the energy, if it's of negativity in motion, creates anxiety, creates fight or flight, creates worry, fear, doubt, and all of those other things that come with it. It creates the release of cortisol in high levels within our body that creates a whole load of problems. And so it's really important that we learn to manage our emotions. And we do that by learning to manage our thoughts, because where the mind goes, the energy flows. And so it's really important, because our emotions will often have an impact on us if we are not careful. And if we don't learn to manage those emotions, they can deviate, they can control and influence our behaviors. And so it's really important that we understand the link between these two, and that first of all, we have to manage our thoughts. And then with our emotions, we have to sometimes take a step back and respond rather than react. Because if we are not careful, our feelings and emotions will prevent us from executing our goals. And so when we don't feel like it, feelings, if we only do the right thing that's going to help us to achieve our goals when we feel like it, we're at a loss. You have to push past sometimes how you feel, because feelings are not facts. We have to push past how we feel to do what needs to be done. If you're feeling fearful about it, okay, fear is a reaction. Courage is a choice. You have to choose to do that. You have to push through so that you can achieve your goals. And so it's really important that we have to understand and be careful of not allowing our feelings and our emotions to be the final decision maker in terms of what we do or what we don't do. And this is why, going back to what I said, you have to have a clear focus on what you want. We have to know what you're willing to sacrifice and when you're willing to do it. You can feel the fear and do it anyway. You cannot be as motivated and still push through. You cannot be in the mood and still do it with the same intensity as if you was in the mood, but it requires discipline, it requires dedication, and it requires commitment. And so you need to ask yourself, are you committed? Where are you at today? What are you willing to do today? Because the only moment that counts is right now. You can either say to yourself, one day or day one. What would it be for you? And it's important that remember that you are not your feelings. You are not your feelings. They do not determine with ultimate control how you are and who you are. They are there to show you examples of how to behave, but they are not the beginning and the end of everything. The important thing that you have to understand is you always have a choice. You can be angry and not react. You can be fearful and still move forward. You can be happy and still be disciplined. It's important that we understand that your feelings, how you feel in the moment, is just there to give you an example of how to behave. But the choice is always yours. And the question you have to ask yourself in any given moment is, who am I in this moment? Who do I want to be in this moment? What do I want to achieve in this moment? And let that be your guiding force of direction. And so we're talking about goals. And in order to achieve your goals, in order to have an impact, in order to make 2022 the year of your breakthrough, you have to make your goals SMART. And so SMART is an acronym for the 5 attributes that increase the chances and the likelihood of you achieving your goals. And so the S stands for specific. So you need to make your goals specific. What exactly do you want? Be precise about what it is you want to achieve. And when you write out your goal, make sure it's detailed so that you understand with no doubt exactly what it is that you want to achieve. Okay? The attention to detail is vital when setting your goals. The second letter, M, stands for making it measurable. Okay? So it's very important that, yes, it's specific and you've got it down to a T. But what's the time frame for this? And how are you ensuring that you are able to gauge the process that you are making? How will you know if you are on track or not? How is it recognizable? And in terms of it, how is it accessible in terms of time frames? What are the markers that you've put in place? If it's a big goal that may take you the whole year or 6 months, have you put measuring rods in place for you to be able to gauge your process? Have you put markers in terms of breaking down that big goal into smaller goals and saying, by month 1, I want to achieve this. By month 2, I want to achieve this. Measurable. It has to be measurable so that you stay on track. The third thing is the A, which is for achievable. So it's great you've got the specific goal and you set down these measures, but is it achievable? Are you said to yourself you want to do your PhD in 5 months? Like, is it achievable? And so it's important that you make it possible, you make it feasible, and you make it attainable. Okay? So there's a thing that a phrase that I often say that when people are willing it, and so we just want something to happen and we're willing it, but we've not put any reality into that. We've not made it achievable. We've just set this goal that when we think about it, it's not possible. Someone who's earning, £1,000 a month and they say, I want to be a millionaire next month, it's not achievable. And so make sure you put measures in place and you make sure that the goals that you want to achieve, they can be big goals. They can be things that's going to push you and stretch you, but it has to still be achievable or you're setting yourself up for failure. Then we have the R, which stands for realistic. Okay? And so how are you ensuring that your goal is realistic for you? And that doesn't mean that you can't dream big. It doesn't mean that you can't break a record or set a new standard. But how is it practical? What steps are you putting in place to make that realistic? With that big goal that you have, with that thing that you want to achieve, what's the practical steps for you? What's the first step, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth? How are you going to ensure that this thing will happen? What rational things do you need to be doing? If it is that you are wanting to do more things with yourself, but you're still getting up at the same time and you're still going to bed late and you're still engaging in many of the habits that was not serving you and you're wanting to make these big changes, how is that rational? And you have to be sensible about this. How are you breaking up your time? How is your time management? What are you putting your energy into? So it has to be realistic. You can't say you want to lose weight and you're not going to exercise and you're going to continue to eat the same way. You're not going to expect your relationship to get better if your partner always complains that you don't do certain things and you still don't do those things and you're hoping for the relationship to get better. Sensible. And we have to be time bound. So setting reachable timescales in which you want to achieve your goals. How are you managing your time? And so it's really important that if you want to set SMART goals, these 5 elements need to be in place, need to be monitored, need to be measured, need to be consistent. And so use this template. Write down your goal, that goal that you spoke or thought about in the beginning. Now begin to break it down. How are you making it specific? How are you making it measurable? How are you making it achievable? How are you making it realistic? And is it time bound? This is your year. Put in the work so you can get the end result, so that you can achieve your dreams and your goals. A fundamental element and component that makes your goals happen is your purpose. Your goals need to align with your purpose, your why, your values. Because when it does, the reasoning, the motivation, the desire, the purpose, the drive, the determination, the commitment, the sacrifice, all of these things become so much easier when it's connected and aligned to your purpose. And so it's really important to recognize what's important to you, what drives you, what gets you up. Do you love the thing that you're putting your energy into in terms of your goals? Because when you do, you will find a way. When you know your why, the how becomes easier. And so your purpose is essential. When you are tired, your purpose pulls you forward. When you are fearful, your purpose pushes you on. And so your goals need to align with your purpose. And it's really important that you know your purpose and that your goals are aligned, because your goal or your dream is really your gymnasium. What do I mean by that? When people go to the gym, those who are really focused and determined in terms of what they want to do, increase their mass, they're losing weight, get focused, get fit, get healthy, whether it's a sports person, it's so that they can run faster, their endurance, all of these different reasons why people go to the gym. But when they go there, there is one thing that they have in common, those who are focused anyway, is that they put in the work. They're sweating. They're consistent in putting in those reps. And that's what your goal or dream is. It's really a gymnasium. It's the thing that you get up every day and work at. And the more work you put in is the more results you see. And so I encourage you today, with whatever your goal or dream is, begin to see it as your gym. And this kind of workout you're going to do on a daily basis. And one of the things about when you go to the gym and you have a good workout, you feel sore afterwards. And so sometimes as you're pushing for your dream and your goal, it's going to hurt. It's going to feel hard. And you got to push through the pain. You got to keep going. And one of the things in terms of muscles, do you know how muscles develop? The muscles get ripped and as they come back together, they expand and they get bigger. Well, sometimes in your goals and your dreams, things are going to be ripped. Things are going to happen. You're going to experience difficulties and hardships and pain. But that is the part of the process. And so push through, keep going, be consistent, be disciplined, and focus on your purpose, your goals, and your dreams. Because the end result, just like when that person looks in the mirror and they see the transformation, as you see the transformation of your goals and dreams manifest in your life, you will be pleased with the final results because you didn't give up, but you got back up. And that's the key here. Stay focused, keep to your dreams and goals, and you will see in the end the great outcome. So one of the things that's really important is that we have to be able to turn the switch off. And what switch am I talking about? The negative filter that happens in our heads. And whenever we are viewing life, our situations, our capabilities from that negative filter, I can't do it. It's not possible. It's too hard. No one else has done it. Everyone else doesn't believe in me. When we're looking at our past mistakes, when the imposter syndrome says, you're not worthy, you're a fraud, you're fake. There's no one, you can't do this. When the rats are constantly going on in your heads, giving you 100 reasons why you shouldn't do it. We have to be able to turn off that filter. We have to be able to switch off from it. We have to be able to silence it because it's there for everyone. But there's a difference between those who learn how to turn down the dial of that voice, how to combat those negative thoughts, how to slay those rats with their cats, their counteractive affirmative thoughts. And if you want to achieve your goals, if I want to achieve my goals, we have to be able to switch off that negative filter that keeps us bound, trapped, and slayed, imprisoned in the thoughts of our mind. And so, one of the things that is really key in helping us to be focused and to understand the journey ahead in terms of you achieving your goals is what I call the ACE model, okay? Because this is the reasons why people have difficulty achieving their goals. And so the ACE model is about, first of all, acceptance and application. And so you have to be willing to accept whatever comes your way in your pursuit for your goals. You have to be willing to accept that this happened, that setback happened, this failure happened. You have to be able to accept what is required of you, the sacrifices, the things that you're going to have to push through, the pains that you're going to have to push through. But it's not just about acceptance, it's about application. So after you accept that, it's doing what needs to be done. It's applying in the areas that it needs to be applied. It's taking action. Acceptance, application, action. Many people don't accept, and many people don't apply. And some people don't accept or apply. And without doing that, you won't achieve your goals. The second thing is about commitment. And we looked at this already. How committed are you? How committed are you to your goals and dreams? How committed are you to push through and to continue when things don't work out the way you want, when things get hard, when things get difficult? When you're in the gym, how many reps are you putting in for your goals and your dreams? And it's about consistency. Remember, it's not about doing it once and thinking that's it. You have to continuously doing it, depending on what your goal is. It might be something that you have to do on a daily basis. Consistency. How much willingness do you have to consistently do that, to be disciplined in that which you must do? And then the third thing is about exposure and endurance. You know, we have to be able to deal with the winter periods and seasons in pursuit of our goals and dreams. When you are exposed to the elements, when you are exposed to fear, difficult situations, courageous conversations, challenges, things that you didn't plan for that have come up, where you have to make difficult choices, the exposure, how do you manage that? How do you deal with that? Do you retract? Do you go backwards? Do you forsake your goals and dreams? Do you compromise? What are you doing in those exposure moments where it's pushing you, where it's encouraging you to fight for what you believe in? You see, success only gives way to those who don't give up. And so you're going to have to chase success. You're going to have to push through. And once success sees that you will not give up, it will surrender to you. Exposure and endurance, to be able to endure, to push on, resiliency, grit, determination. These are elements that are needed, especially if you set big goals for yourself. And so this ACE model, when you are able, willing to engage and persist and continue in these elements, success is your only result. And so it's important also to bear in mind and to remember that when you have a setback, when you don't meet the mark, when you fail in something, when things don't go according to plans, but you continue with it, your setbacks become a springboard if you stay connected and committed to your goal. And so I want to encourage you, because when we are in pursuit of things and we set goals and dreams, it doesn't always go according to plan. It doesn't always work the first time. But if you continue to work it, it will work itself out. So I want to encourage you, if you're someone who is at a place where you tried something and it failed and you gave up, pick back up the mantle, go back to it. Be consistent, fight for your dreams and your goals. No one said it was going to be easy, but that doesn't mean that just because it's not easy, it can't be done. And so as we begin to round up, I want to just say, clarify the goal before making your move. Clarify the goal is so important, because if you're not clear on where the target point is, you're just firing in the air. There's a saying that says, if the sailor does not know the point in which the place where he wants to go, no wind will serve him. Because he doesn't know if he should be going north, south, east, or west. He doesn't know. So it doesn't matter which way the wind is going. No wind is going to serve him. And when you don't have clarity in your goal, you don't have no direction. You don't know who you need to connect with. You don't know which conversations you need to have. You don't know what habits you need to maintain. So have clarity around your goal. Do the steps that I've shown you and spoken to you about in this Golden Nugget series. Have your SMART goals. Be clear on what you're willing to sacrifice. Have clarity on your goal, and then move with precision like a ninja. And so I believe and I encourage you to make 2022 your year. And I hope that you would enter into your own Guinness Book of Records for setting goals and achieving them this year. But in order for that to happen, there's one very important thing that needs to take place. And that is your habits. Because old ways won't open new doors. And your habits are key and vital to opening the door of success for you. Because we are what we repeatedly do. You see, first you make your habits, and then your habits make you. And so this is why I've put together a webinar that's going to be taking place on the 27th of January. And it's called Healthy Habits Equal Success. And in this session, I'm going to be covering some key topics about habits. And so if you're someone that's wanting to make 2022 your year, if you're wanting to set goals and dreams and desires and you want to achieve them, you have to understand your habits are fundamental to them. And so in this session, we're going to be covering some key points. We're going to explore the power of decision-making and its link to your behaviors. Why is it that people have difficulty making certain decisions? And why is it that sometimes we make the decisions that don't serve us, that don't line up with our goals and our dreams? We're going to be covering that. We're also going to reflect on what a habit is and how they can help or hinder us, how they can build us up or destroy us. why we have good habits and bad habits. We're going to look over the habit loop and how it influences our actions and behaviors, and how every habit has a cue, and we have to understand and be aware of that cue so that we can then make the right choices and decisions. We're going to examine why bad habits develop and why they're hard to break. But we're also going to give you the tools and the strategies to break them. You're going to discover the difference between goals and systems when seeking success. So it's good to set goals, but goals don't change without the system changing. And so it's important to understand, and we're going to break down what that system is and how you can use it to benefit your goals. You're going to understand the 3 layers of behavioral change, and that when we understand what those layers are and we do the things that's needed in each of those layers, it enhances the chances of behavior change, which means our habits change, which means we're able to achieve our goals, dreams, and desires. And finally, you're going to learn how to build new habits for success. You see, whatever your goal is, whatever those things are that you wrote down earlier today, well, in order for those to happen, there needs to be a habit that goes behind that, because your habits are the foundation. Your habits are like the root if you're thinking of a tree. Your goals are the branches. And so it's the foundational stuff that you put in place, the habits that you do every day, because habits are unconscious automatic behaviors and patterns. And so when we are creating those automatic behaviors and patterns that serve us, that build us, that create the right environment for our goals and our dreams to be achieved, then we equal success. So I hope to see you at this awesome webinar that's going to be taking place. The information and the link is going to be in the bio. Have a look, and I hopefully see you there. And so always, I'd like to encourage you, if you found this useful, if you found this golden nugget session beneficial, I encourage you to look on my YouTube channel for other versions of the golden nugget series and various other videos that I have dedicated to inspiring you. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell for more videos to empower you. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it gave you some insight and inspiration. Leave a comment and let me know one nugget that you will take away from this session. And share this video with your friends and with your loved ones and those who you know need to hear this. And check out my YouTube channel for more videos dedicated to empowering and inspiring you. And remember to hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell, because this is me calling you for our next one-to-one. So as always, stay blessed, remain grateful, and manifest your greatness.